Do you reckon there's a song that sums up our position at the moment?
Enough for this daydreaming. This is Cat's Whiskers TV.
It's that close. Coming up on this week's show, we'll be looking back at a magnificent weekend for the Panthers and a pretty good one for the Edinburgh Capitals as well. We'll also be discussing Paul Thompson's shock news of leaving the Blaze, and we'll be looking ahead to the Belfast weekend. How big could that be? But first, as ever, it's Paul Baum with the news.
I'm Paul Baum, and this is the news. Dave Sims reveals his view of the title race. Finity leaves the NIC after Saturday night's loss. Giants provide Panthers with transport to the important league doubleheader. And that was the news.
We're going to look back at both games from the weekend. First, we'll look at Sheffield on Saturday. Bit of a nervy one, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was just a bit of a weird atmosphere, wasn't it? It was. I'm not going to say a nothing game, because obviously no games are a nothing game at this stage of the season, and especially against Sheffield. But it just seemed like it took a while to get going, basically. We closed them down quite a bit. You know, they did the same to us to a certain degree, and I think it was always going to be a close game anyway, wasn't it? And you know, 1-0 for most of the 99% of the game, but 2 points, and that's what it'll say on the records. You know, a win for the Panthers.
That's all that matters. I think we was discussing this afterwards. It's about we were
discussing.
Thanks.
Grammar police.
Yeah, thanks. It's near the end of the season. We were discussing at the end of the game about. We thought it was probably the cleanest Panthers-Steelers game there's been.
Yeah, I mean there was a lot of talk from a lot of fans before the start of the game. I've been very careful what I say now.
I'm listening.
Makes a change. About how they thought Sheffield were going to come and rough us up. But I think, to be honest, if the game had, they got a couple of goals in front, we got a couple of goals in front, then that might have happened. But because it was so tight, fair play to Corey and Rick, they changed our gameplay.
I like that you're on first name terms with the coaches now.
I can't remember the surnames, that's what it is.
I'm
Kingfisher. That's what it is.
He's only had half a bottle. And I just thought for a Panthers-Sheffield game, it didn't seem to have the intensity that they normally have. Certainly nowhere near anything like the intensity of the game that finished 4-2 a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. It was tense, but one thing I did think is as good as we were last weekend in Scotland and how we played some brilliant hockey, this was completely the opposite, where we showed we had to grind out a win, we had to really dig deep, and it just showed why we are where we are, because we can play pretty if we want to, but we can play dirty if we need to. And I don't mean dirty as in filthy, I mean dirty as in down and dirty.
I think Paul said, good old Corey and Rick, Nielsen, Strachan,
friends of the show,
said they changed their game plan, and they looked at what Sheffield have played throughout the season, the systems that they bring to the NIC, and yes, it might have cost us the odd goal or not, but I'd take a 1-0 win over a 7-6 that might be a little bit nervy and could go the other way. So, and I think that shows maybe how much Corey's come on as a coach through this season, being, you know, on the sideline. The fact that he's looked at Sheffield like that and think, well, hang on a minute, we, you know, the position that we're in, we need to change our game, and we're going to have to win that way. And that's, I think that's quite a promising thing to see from Mr. Nielsen this season, that he's adapted his coaching and his systems, and then it proves as well that the Panthers players can play different systems as well, and we're not just this, you know, free flowing sexy Nielsen hockey, that we can change the game and play a different kind of hockey and win that way as well.
Yeah. I did think that although it was tense and nervy, we looked comfortable at 1-0. Although it has to be said, Craig Kowalski made some absolutely magnificent saves.
Yeah, I mean, the one where he slid across to the opposite post and just sort of caught it under his in his armpit, almost, you know, was you know, an absolute exceptional save. But I think there was about a 10-15 minute period, sort of end of the second, early in the third, where, you know, they had the ascendancy, you know, and I was a bit worried about it then. But I mean, and at 1-0 you're never safe, you know. I mean, how many, I said to you Saturday night, how many Steelers games have you been to where we've gone in with a lead late in the game and blown it? You know, that late equaliser, that late winner that's done for us time and, you know, time again, and you sit there and think, here we go again. But I didn't really say, apart from that, that's about a quarter of an hour, which is a quarter of the game when you think about it, have that feeling. You know, I thought, you know, yeah, we rode a look at times. They might have had a goal, but the referee didn't give it. That's what happened. There's no point arguing about it. Don't go throwing the net at the referee. It'll only get you in trouble. Although I thought he got away with that. Just a 10-minute for if I'd been a referee, he'd have been getting first in the showers. But you know.
But enough of that.
What a way to end.
Okay, I think we'll leave Sheffield there and move on to Hull. I think first of all about Hull, big crowd, and I think we have to pay tribute to the organisation of the Hull Stingrays, of sorting it out and making sure everyone was seated, happy, no trouble whatsoever. And I thought their organisation was magnificent.
Yeah, they could have had a couple more in the cafe though. I missed the first 10 minutes of the second. But yeah, I mean, you know, that everybody knew what's, you know, where to direct people to. I can't remember last time I was in a game an hour, you know, 50 minutes before the start, and the away blocks were full, and it just made for an absolutely belting atmosphere. And I think the Stingray fans, I'd probably say it was about 50-50. Yeah, you know, you know, they played a big part in that atmosphere as well. And it's not often you go to a game and the announcer's doing jokes about Kelly Brooks. Thanks, Scooby. Yeah.
You, of course, watched the game on the webcast, and I think we've heard a lot of plaudits about Hull's webcast, and you want to add to that?
Yeah, it's rubbish. No, no. To be fair, out of all the choice of guests. Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't talk about the guest in the first period break, but never mind. No,
I thought he was brilliant.
I couldn't see him because he was so low down in the height version, but never mind. No, it's the first time I've ever watched Hull webcast, and I must say it is, for all the webcasts are out there, it is fantastically well done. You know, to say that it's done with the college, you know, in conjunction with the college, is fantastic. Commentator-wise, very, very impartial, which is nice to obviously hear.
Considering both of them are Steelers fans as well.
Well, I didn't know that.
They probably didn't care who won that.
True, yeah. I said to you about, obviously, the co-commentator, because I, you know, recognised him. I was like, oh, is that a Steeler? That's the thingy from Steelers. And then I was like that. But I didn't realise the main guy was from Sheffield as well. But no, fantastic commentary, really nicely done. Well worth £8. If you know, I wanted to get up to Hull, but unfortunately I couldn't. But I'd definitely be paying £8 to get the service again. And yeah, it was a good game.
So moving on to the game, wasn't a bad start, was it?
It wasn't. You know, I thought is that in? Is it not? But the night went straight on, and yeah, I mean, you don't get a better start than that. And to be honest, I'm glad we did, because I mean, another very tight game for the majority of it. Even that bit, the 10-minute when I was in the TQ and couldn't just sort of looking over. That's weird that. Watching a game through glass that you can't hear anything through. It's like watching life on mute. It's really, really odd. But again, a performance that we had to grind out. Again, we said last week, that was there was never going to be a gimme. Hull, they play well. They're on a good run of form. They play well in their own rink with their own fans. Did us having so many there help? Yeah. It's going to, but yeah, it was a absolute cracking game.
And I think it was always going to be difficult. I mean, Panthers were obviously going to be favourites to win due to the differences in positions in the table, but Hull have been on some cracking form lately. They've really pulled themselves up from the bottom of the league. I think they've won 4 on the bounce, and they're now in a playoff position in their own right. And looking at the way they played yesterday, they fully deserve that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it started from the back, didn't it, with good old Mounds. He was excellent yesterday. I think he's been using some cosmic powers on that because his saves were amazing. And to be fair to him, he kept Hull in the game for a large period of the match, because just some of the saves he was making, we could have gone in 3-4 and then second period again. But no, I think Hull played all right. I'm watching it back at home. I was never really nervous. I could never see us really losing that game once we'd got, Kelsey Wilson had scored the goal 18 or 19 seconds in, settled us down nicely. I could never see us losing from that point. I think we were always, again, K-Wall had a cracking game and was very unlucky not to get a shutout, only 4 seconds from the end. Fully deserved a shutout in my eyes. But, we did what we had to do. Again, like Paul says, grinded out another performance. But I would say that at no point was I nervous to think that Hull had anything in the tank that could really threaten us. I think if we had have lost that, it would have been due to our mistakes and our fault that we would have lost. But like we've mentioned with this team, we just can't see them doing that many times this season.
He still was nervous though at 1-0, but then up comes the second goal. Proper bow, I tell thee.
I think you're asking the wrong generation of the family, aren't you? We had other students in for this one, but it was just pure Beauregard. Pass comes across, Bounds had been pulled way out of position, and it was almost an open goal he was aiming in, but professional of the years, still roofed it. Still put it where the keeper couldn't have got to if he just managed to try and pull off some miraculous save. And that, coupled with the news we were getting from Edinburgh, which we'll come back to in the sort of the awards later, that was a special moment.
Yeah. And then of course Clarkey wraps it up with a pretty trademark goal straight into the corner. Again, a feed from that man Beauregard again.
Yeah, Beau played fantastic, and I think credit to Beau. He's obviously come over here. He knows the situation, like we've all heard. But it's got to be hard being out of the side for so long. Yes, obviously he's training with the guys and stuff in the week, but then to not play on the Saturday or actually on game day, but then to come in, when required, and to put in a performance like that, just shows you how professional and what a good hockey player he is. And very happy to see him score the goal, like we say, very classic Beau. And the assists and stuff went in nicely as well. So good performance for him.
I think I said pretty similar when I was being interviewed. First period yesterday, it was really good. You saw it.
Unfortunately, yes.
No, I think I said on that interview that it's not a bad replacement to bring in, is it? When someone's, someone's injured, we'll bring Beauregard in, then we'll give that lad a run out.
Yeah.
We've got that sort of quality waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? One of those old fans shouted as we were going past, "Beat these big-time Charlies." Yeah, 1950s insults. Keep them coming, son.
Wow, 1956. There we go. Of course, well, he's not won yet. You know what we're like. just a final word then. So obviously another massive game going on in Edinburgh at the same time. Yeah, I will do. Subtle, really subtle. So, of course, another massive game going off in Edinburgh against Belfast, and that was, well, I don't think we could have wished for any better. Do you want me to come back to you now or later?
No.
Yeah, okay.
It makes more sense at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, who? I mean, I don't know. You know, people are going, "Oh, I never saw that result coming. I never." You know, why not? In a way, you know, we when we went up to Scotland the week before, Edinburgh they've beaten every team now. Belfast were the only team that Edinburgh hadn't beaten,
and they've done it.
And they've gone and done it.
And now they're the only team who have in that conference.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, to be fair, not let's just be shocked here. Give the Caps some credit. You know, they're not a bad side this season, and they've put runs together to beat Belfast at this time of the season when. You know, obviously I didn't see the game or what, but I'm sure Belfast were giving it a bloody good go. And, you know, especially into the third period, I'm sure Big Doug gave them a right rollicking in the second period break, because to come out and then to bash, you know, two goals in quick succession, to put the Caps under pressure, you know, let's congratulate the Caps and not, you know, that result could have easily happened. And yes, it's fantastic for us. So yeah, you know,
I think it says it all for the Caps, because I mean we early in the season we played them home and beat them 10-0, and you just thought, oh God, what are these going to be like at the end of the season? And fair play to them, they brought the two Canadian guys in, Liam Weber and can't think of the other guy's name. Sorry, but
everybody knows who he means.
Yeah, I'm sure they know.
Screaming at
screaming at the screen now. But they brought them in. It's really toughened the team up, and they've gone on these runs, and they're now sixth place, and they deserve to be there. They're a good side.
Oh, they are. I mean, you know, look at the game last weekend. We played up there. You know, there was that 15, you know, again that 15, 20, 25 minute period where
they were on
Kowalski,
top,
Kowalski kept us in it. You know, and you know, so it's no surprise. You know, I looked at those fixtures and thought, Brayhead, I'm sorry, Belfast were always going to beat them. You know, sorry, Doug, but big fan. But yeah, that Edinburgh one, I thought if there's going to be a slip up this week, and that's where it's going to be. But well, I've said slip up, but it's not. You know, you can't say it's a slip up. Yeah, you can't expect to beat everybody. You know, so you know, there'll be plenty of people who say it's a slip up. Not me. It's a well-deserved victory.
Fair enough. Right, I think for now we will leave it there. Of course, today the news came out that Coventry coach Paul Thompson is moving to Sweden in the new season to take an assistant coach position at Trojalunjumi. I think if my Swedish is correct.
Where's Ulrika Johnson when you need it?
Oh dear. Well, yeah. Move on. I will move on. So. I've got. I know it's been the worst kept secret, but I must admit I'm quite surprised.
Why?
I don't know. I just thought he would never ever leave Coventry, especially being a part owner of them and having that financial interest. I was just shocked that he actually went. I think he's probably had chance before to leave, and you know, I just think, why now?
I think basically, you know, it's like any player, isn't it? You want to test yourself at the highest level that you personally can. He's won everything that he can possibly win in England. You know, he's been there 18 years, I think it is. Yeah, obviously before the Blaze, before the Blaze came. But and I just think, a big thing of it is as well, not saying that this is a sole reason, but it's becoming harder and harder for the rink clubs to compete with the 3 arena teams. And you can see that this season, and you can see it on, if you look back over previous seasons, it's the budget that the arena clubs have obviously plays a part of it. And I just think, after 18 years, the blokes obviously gave some fantastic service to the Coventry Blaze and to GB hockey, sorry. And if he wants to go and test himself in another thing, fair play to him, and wish him all the best in the luck. But I think it'll be interesting, which way Coventry go now. Do they build on what he's done and maybe push to try and compete even more with the arena teams, or is it the start of something that Coventry fans might not like? We'll see, won't we?
He's got nothing left to prove in this country at all, really. He's won everything. Like Aaron says, he's going to test himself. However, one very interesting snippet from the press release that he will remain as some sort of director of hockey at the Blaze and will be recruiting next year's team. And I must admit that puzzled me, because I thought if there's a new coach coming in, it's not going to be his team, which seems to suggest they may be promoting from within.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key word there is new. Is it going to be new? And I think you're likely to see Matt Soderstrom step up to the coaching role. But I mean, it does, because even then though I think it is slightly odd, because as a coach you want to stamp your authority on the team. We've had questions here about who's really picking the team, but I think now it is down to Nielsen. Thank you. Perfectly timed for a change. Yeah, but I don't think his choice of going to Sweden though is a shock. Say why?
Why?
The trouble I have. He's not. No, you were a lot better last week. Yeah. So because I think it's down to the fact they've got an IKEA next to the rink. It's turned his head. It said all that cheap flat pack furniture with the added horse meat. Yeah. It's lured him in. It's turned his head. Yeah.
Oh dear.
I'll tell you what, though, on the fact that you say about the coach, I listened to an interview that he's done. I can't remember who it's with, but it's obviously somebody from within.
You see, one of us does some research.
Yes, thank you. And they actually, obviously, they bring it up about the coach and the new. Obviously, talking about the fact that he says that he's going to be recruiting. He'll still be director of hockey. So, and they, Tomo says that they've got somebody in mind. And that they're working on it, and that will be something that is mentioned in the next coming weeks to a month. So from that point of view, who will that be? Will they promote from it? I don't know about that. But then if they don't, then like we said, you as a coach, it's got to be your team. You need the players that you want, otherwise those players might not want to play for that coach, and then you're going into a whole spiral of thing. But I'm going to stick a tenner on Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson? Yeah. The boxer?
Well, just to improve their standards of the way they play hockey. Did I really have to write out that joke and spell it to you?
He's struggling tonight.
God, is it the cold weather or something?
What is the penalty for biting in this league?
3 games, I think.
It depends. 6 in Cardiff.
To be serious for a moment, I think you have to pay tribute to Thompson. He has been consistently one of the best coaches in the Elite League throughout the whole time that the league's been here. I think he left the Great Britain team in a far, far better place than when he found it, and also really improved the infrastructure there. He's brought some cracking players through. I think Neil Martin is one that comes to mind. Adam Calder is another. I'm not going to mention Dan Carlson because I know you don't like him, so we'll leave that one. But
that's me going
he deserves. I think he deserves his shot. He does deserve his shot. I just think that the timing's a little bit strange, but I think overall, good luck to the guy.
I'm David Alexander Beauregard. You're watching Cat Whiskers TV.
It's time for the Cats Whiskers TV Monthly Awards. Thanks to everyone who voted once again on Twitter, Facebook and The Cage. We've got the student, Sam, with us, is playing out of character, so he's actually going to be serious today. So, first award, of course, is the Panthers Player of the Month. Aaron.
Brandon Benedict, number 26.
Good choice. I am going to go for Brandon Benedict as well. Sam.
Kelsey Wilson.
Why in particular?
Where he's proved that he's not just a fighter. They can score goals as well.
Yeah, good point. Paul.
Brandon Benedict as well here.
Well, on the panel, 3-1 for Brandon Benedict. However, not the case with your votes. The winner is Kelsey Wilson, as chosen by the student. So Kelsey Wilson is the Panthers Player of the Month. So moving on to the Elite League Player of the Month, there was quite a few different choices in this one. Aaron.
I'm going for Mr. Henrik from the Coventry Blaze this month. Made a big impact since he's been at the Coventry Blaze. So well done, mate.
Yeah, he's been a good player. Sam.
Benedict.
So you chose Wilson.
Get on with it.
We'll get on with it. So you'll go for Benedict. I am going to go for Hydlovsky, the Edinburgh netminder, mainly for 2 excellent results against Belfast and against the Steelers. And from what I can see from Caps fans, and he had a pretty good game last week, despite shipping 6 goals. He still played very, very well. So that's where my vote's going. Paul.
And throwing his stick.
And throwing his stick.
I'm going to go for Benedict as well. I mean, it's just the amount of energy he puts in. We were saying last night, he was everywhere. He was all over the place, but in a good way. He was, it's just the energy, the amount of work he does, some of the goals he got. I mean, had Fox not scored that wonder goal against Sheffield, the second, I think it was, goal he scored against Braehead, where he just dipsy-doodled through the Braehead defence and just put it past McChesney, who was down on his knees, was just superb.
Well, for the first time ever in a Cats Whiskers TV award, there's a tie. Not only a tie, but a 3-way tie between Adam Henrich of Coventry Blaze, Brandon Benedict of the Nottingham Panthers, and don't know his first name, Hydlovsky of the Edinburgh Capitals.
It's all about the research.
It's all about the research. So well done to the 3 of them. Our third award is, of course, the coveted Goal of the Month award. Wonder what's going to win this. Coveted. Aaron.
I'm going to literally just change my mind, actually, and I'm actually going to go for Brandon Benedict's short-handed goal against Braehead, because I'll tell you why. Once you've announced who the winner is.
Something to look forward to there, viewers. Don't go away. Sam.
I'm going to go for Benedict's short-handed goal. Yep.
Any particular reason why that you'd like to reveal at this point?
Well, for the fact that McChesney still can't find his kit because he got undressed so violently.
Fair enough. Well, it'll be no surprise to anyone that I'm going to be boring and going for Jordan Fox wonder goal against Sheffield, mainly because John DeCaro is still pulling up his shorts from that. Even now, and apparently a lot of undressing going on, and apparently was in Cardiff last night that he had to go off. Paul,
were any fans hurt during that incident? No, sorry. I'm going to go for Guy Lepine's empty net goal. Because I haven't won one yet. I'm going to go for Jordan Fox.
Yay! Yeah. Well, as you could probably guess, out of the votes we had, that was 95% of the vote was, of course, for Jordan Fox's goal against Sheffield.
I think we ought to have an honourable mention for, is it Langlay's
Oh, Chad Langlaze, Paddy Smith, friend of the show.
Yeah,
just to keep it, yeah. So,
turn off now, Paddy.
he said he did say Chad Langlaze, which I did see on the Elite League show was an excellent goal, but in my opinion, not as good as Fox's, and in lots of other people's opinions as well. So, Paddy, you're wrong. Sorry, Aaron, I'll come back to you because you said you give your reason why you give Benedict's goal.
Well, my reason is the Fox goal. Fox has that in his locker and can do that a lot, whereas the Benedict goal, I think that was something extra special from Benedict. He very rarely does he score those type of goals, so that's why I gave it to you, Brandon, and I think you deserve it. Jordan, you deserved it as well, but Brandon, you deserved it this month.
He finished.
Yeah.
So, congratulations, Jordan Fox. Our penultimate award is the moment of the month. Aaron.
Oh yes, that famous second sport that we all like to see on the ice. David Ling's water skiing behind the Zamboni. If you watch the video, I don't even think the bloke on the Zamboni knows what's going on. He looks behind him and he thinks, what the hell, why is everybody cheering me? All I do is just make the ice better for the teams coming out. But no, it wasn't for you, mate. Unfortunately, it was for David Ling. Very type of character he is, so very well done. Well done, Linger.
Sam.
Well, I am going to shock the viewers at home here, but I'm going to go for Beauregard's goal in Hull.
No, you go for a Beauregard moment? Surely not.
Yes.
You enjoyed the goal, obviously. Yeah. Seeing as you hugged me when you scored, I knew you enjoyed it. Yeah, he did.
You hugged me.
No, you hugged me.
No, you hugged me.
You hugged me.
You hugged me.
Hey,
Paul.
Well, mine's slightly different as well because it was something that happened in Hull. With sort of two bits, but they sort of interconnected, if I may. One because. Don't want it. One. Anybody who knows him knows that his natural position isn't sitting upright. It's more sort of, if I just get my phone out, like this. You'll be talking to him and he'll be looking at his phone. He pretends he's listening, but he's not. And all last night he was looking at the score in Belfast. Not Belfast, Edinburgh. And from... Yeah. I deserved that, didn't I? Yes. But from the other, because we were sat right near the entrance where we all came in, and then from a voice from down the other end suddenly shouts, "Come on, you Caps!" And he goes, "It's 2-0." But the real moment was later when we found out, because again he was looking at his phone instead of paying attention to what he paid to watch, that Edinburgh had won 3-2, and he turned around and shouted, "Edinburgh won 3-2," and you could see the news just ripple down the block and round the corner. So somebody looked at and just went, "They won, yeah." And that block went up as well. And it you've seen moments like that. Like the end of the Premiership last season with people on the phones watching. The older people remember half the crowd turning up with a radio earpiece in, but never actually been at something where that's been happening. In our favour. So yeah, that was a special moment for me.
I don't really think I can follow that, but I went for Lingwater skiing as well.
I'm guessing that one didn't win.
That one didn't win, unfortunately. That was the only vote. But I think if
people will be changing their minds.
They'll be writing in. But the winner was David Ling, water skiing behind the Zamboni. Sorry, Paul.
You hugged me.
Our final award is, of course, probably the favourite award of everyone. It's the Mug of the Month, the Divin Didier Mete Award, as we like to call it. So, Mug of the Month, Aaron.
I'm going for McChesney. What an idiot, basically, for what he did when we played Brea. Sorry, I will do. When he played us at home and had that little paddy. Wow, that's like I mentioned at the time, that's the biggest paddy I've seen, including some of the kids' paddies. But yeah, mate, what an idiot! And the finger at the end, no need, pal, no need.
Well, yeah, I'm actually going to agree with you and go with that one as well, because I think as strops go, that was pretty impressive. Not only did he try and break the stick, not only did he storm off, he threw equipment and then flipped the bird at the end. You know, that was the sort of, as strops go, that was complete. So I think that he's the deserving of my vote there. You are, Darren, deserving. Sam?
Finity.
Why?
Does it need explaining?
Good point. Paul?
I think we ought to rename this award. What's the goalkeeper done this week? Award. It does get a bit boring. We had Peter Hirsch not turning up for his award last time, and now we've got McChesney. But to be honest, it's well deserved. Really, you know. But it was quality, far better than Hirsch's a couple of weeks before. But is that really what you want to be doing as a professional? Really? I can't hold this for very long.
Well, the Sheffield Steelers seem to make a living out of it. So, anyway.
Hey, nobody's making a living at the Sheffield Steelers.
You want to complain? Complain to Jono Bullock.
At TCW fanzine.
They do anyway.
Get your bingo going.
It's a daily occurrence. So, well done, Darren McChesney of the Brayhead Clan, Mug of the Month. And that concludes the awards for this month. Finally, we move on to what could be an incredibly historic weekend in the history of the Nottingham Panthers. Please. 2 is the magic number, isn't it?
It is, yes.
So just 1 win required out of the 2 games. Well, 1 win required out of the 4 we've got left. Do you think we'll do it this weekend?
I hope so.
You're still not confident, are you?
Well, I'm getting there. I am getting there, but we've been here before. 18 years ago, well, we weren't in as good a position as this, but then we were talking on the way back down. Was it Foynehaven or Devon Lock? Was it Foynehaven 1? Because Devon Lock just collapsed. It was miles out in front.
Grand National for anyone in the 60s. For anyone who's wondering.
These things aren't certain. We've there's a lot of people acting like they've won. I mean, when we didn't know that Edinburgh had won last night, I think the bloke behind us said that all we needed was 4 overtime wins. Well, when we needed 4 points, I thought that's a funny way of doing it. Yeah, I don't think I could cope with that. But yeah, you've got to hope. I think you've got to hope to do it this week, and I think we've got a pretty good chance. I've said weeks ago we'd split this with Belfast, and if we do that, then I don't think we really know what we'll do then, do we? We haven't got a clue. It's never happened before.
If you know what to do when you win these sort of things, could you write in and let us know?
It's just going to be like Steeler fans coming in saying, "Look how many times we've won it."
Well, I did think we could do bingo. We could do fan bingo. If it happens, vitriol bingo, well, they've never won it as many times as we have. It's because they've got all the money, and you just cross them off.
We've had injuries. We've had injuries.
Well, that's another classic.
Very good players.
I can't play more than 1 book at a time, so I haven't got. My dibber and my dabber.
So, moving back onto the weekend, it's not going to be easy. I don't think Belfast can still win it, and they have to win. Well, they've got no choice but to win both games, which I'm hoping will lead to a pretty open game. And I think if it is an open game or 2 open games, I think that's where we hold the upper hand in that sort of game of hockey.
Looking at both teams and looking at the performances over the season, you'd have to say, if that scenario happens, then we should come out. I mean, with the result of the weekend just gone, with the Giants losing to Caps, they're going to come out the block. They've literally got nothing to lose, have they? At the end of the day, 95% of the hockey world think that we're going to win the league, and so what have they got to lose? I don't necessarily see it as an open game as in free flowing hockey. I see it as they are going to come out. I'm pretty sure that Keith's going to try and knock the block off somebody properly quite early, get the crowd into it, maybe try and unstable, whether it'll be Lepine or Wilson, whoever it'll be. I can see them really being quite, not rough, but they're going to bleed, I think, because what else have they got to do? But we will win one of those games, guaranteed.
You're saying that though, but basically what you're doing is describing what we all thought Sheffield were going to do last weekend. Yeah. Just gone, because essentially they'd got nothing to lose. Yeah. We thought they were going to come out and rough us up, and we thought Sheffield would come flying at us. They didn't. So I mean, right? Yeah, you may be entirely right, but I was just picking a comparison there, just for the sake of it.
The thing I would say on that is, ding ding, Sheffield were completely, not mathematically out of the league. The game against us just gone. Yeah, but I'm saying they weren't. They were still in the race mathematically.
Still a long way behind,
but come on, like we said last week, they were never really going to win the league, because even if we screwed up, Belfast weren't going to screw up for the rest of the remaining games. Belfast, they can still win it themselves. So in that sense, they still have something to play for, but in genre, they don't. They have nothing to lose. That's what I mean there.
I suspect that.
Yeah, God knows why I said that.
Genre. I suspect that.
Miss Marple.
I suspect that I think that Sunday's defeat for Belfast will have deflated them, and I think they could come out very, very flat. I suppose we'll see in warm up when we go into warm up.
The ritual. Obviously, double in warm up, hopefully.
But you see by the body language of the players when they're in the warm up, and I think that from there you'll probably get a good indication of how the game might go.
I don't see that with a big Doug team though. I don't see that with Doug Christian's team. He doesn't come across as a person that will let them be flat. I think some of the players that they've got on there, like Lloyd, Keith, Sandrock, they're three quite in-your-face players, and I can't at home. Maybe if they were away, then I could maybe see them being a little bit flat. But being at home, I honestly think they are going to be fired up for it, and I think we have to be aware of that and not get sucked into that whole. Right, well, he wants to go with me, so I'm going to go with him. Let them not play the mind games. Be, I'm no coach or whatever, but you could say that by winning, we'll win this game. Up there by being sensible and being professional and just going and playing our hockey. Don't get involved in all the hype. And if they want to go and stuff like that, and of being rough and everything like that in your face and stuff, don't react to it. So I can't see them being flat. I'm sorry to disagree with you, Jonathan. But I can't see them being flat. I can't see it.
I still think they might come out flat.
I have been wrong in the past.
And I think we know that Corey Nielsen has proved beyond doubt, in my opinion, that he is a very smart coach, and I think he'll know exactly what sort of game plan he's going into this weekend with. And if he needs to change it for the second game, he will. I think he's shown that from behind the bench he has the ability to change a game and change the plan. And I think that it's a lot of the reason why we are where we are. I mean, we're now on an 11-game winning streak. I mean, that's amazing. Well, it's incredible, quite frankly. I think I was reading in the post today, we've won 18 out of our last 19 games. And if we do, and I really hope we do, and I think we will, we deserve we deserve it. No one can deny that we do not deserve it.
Get your bingo out card, because I can guarantee it'll happen. Yeah, I mean, you're right, and a lot of what Aaron said was right. They're going to go two ways. They're either going to come out flat, dejected, or they're going to come out firing, and we've got to be ready for whatever, and we've got to play smart, but we've got to play, we haven't just got to play smart, we've got to play hungry. We don't want to come out being too ravenous and just, we've got to do it now, because you'll end up losing that. But, we've got Strachan as well on the bench, Nielsen there. They'll keep the feet on the ground. That's what they've got to do. That's a lot what they've got to do in training this week.
Or the skates on their ice. Carry on.
Is it my turn to roll my eyes and look all sad at the camera because the big boy's been picking on me again? Yeah, I'd finish more or less anyway. Move on.
Well,
I think that's what you was just saying there about the fact that, Corey's going to have to react. That's the benefit of having a double header, in the fact of you haven't got long to wait. You can look at it and say, well, you haven't got much time to change it because you've got a game the next day. But I'm sure pretty much if we lost the Friday and we lost by, we had a bad performance and the Giants, had a good win against us, that I don't think Corey would have to say much to the players really to rechange that for the Saturday's game. And I think that's the benefit of having a double header. It can play into the advantage of the coach having to change things quite quickly because the game is literally the next day.
Okay. Well, there'll probably be several hundred Panthers fans over in Belfast. 3 of us will be there. We'll have a camera with us, so if we shove a microphone in your face and ask for a comment, please don't swear.
Which after several pints of whatever
might be
Difficult for us as well, yeah.
So hopefully we will see some of you at the weekend, and we will be back. We will be back next week. We'll not say too much about next week's show because we've got to see what happens first. But until next week, goodbye. Just 2 points needed. Just one game this weekend. I think it's going to be massive. What do you reckon?
I think you hug me.